If you are just starting off with an RDA for your vape and still need some help putting coils on, here's a little interactive video that will hopefully help you learn to put or change your RDA coils. It's always best if you leave your RDA on your mod for more stability when handling with the coils. Do keep in mind you don't have to turn your mod off, but do be careful not to hit the fire button when doing so, or you will short your mod's batteries. It's better to leave the mod off just to play it safe. So let's get started, and do feel free to rewind or pause the video at any time you like. Now, let's untighten the top screws just enough so that way the wire can fit through. You don't have to unscrew the screws all the way off because then it just becomes a big hassle. Once the screws are loosened just enough, you will want to put the wire on opposite holes in the post as shown. Make sure the coil has some space so it's not touching the post. If it's touching, your mod will either not fire or you will ruin your batteries, so do be careful and make sure there is enough space in between. Take your time if this is your first time, no need to rush. See that extra wire sticking out? We don't need that. Let's go ahead and get rid of that extra wire. Now you are going to repeat what you just did with the first set of wire with the second set of wire. Also, you do not need to put two sets of wire in. One coil will work just as good. Again, do make sure you have spacing between the posts of the coil. It doesn't have to be a huge space gap, just enough so that it is not touching the post. Once both coils are in and the extra wire is cut, you can tighten the screws back up, and don't be shy to make sure it's on tight. Just don't go overboard with tightening the screws because then it will be hard to unloosen them. Again, trust me, I've done it multiple times. If you have a little screwdriver or anything thin enough to fit in the coils, slide it through the coil and make sure they are as vertical as you can get them as shown. If the ohms are higher than 0.5 or lower than 0.15, you might have to give the coils a little squeeze. Not too hard of a squeeze, just enough until your ohms are in the 0.5 or 0.15 range. Nothing lower or higher. Do not fire the mod when squeezing the coils. Alright, now that the coils are in place and the screws are all tightened down, go ahead, give it a test fire, and once both coils fire at the same time, you now have a functioning vape. But what's a vape if you can't truly blow clouds? Now we are going to put cotton in the coils. Don't worry, it's very simple once you get the hang of it. Go ahead and rip off some cotton as shown, twist one end of it so you can slide it through the coil. You should be able to move the cotton back and forth in the coil. If you can't move it, you have too much of it. Just goes back and forth. Very, very easy, you have too less. Try to get it in the middle. Do the same for the other side with the cotton. Not too much and not too less. Don't worry, I had trouble at first getting the right amount. The more you do it, the easier it will be. Once both coils have cotton in them, we will want to cut off the extra cotton that is sticking out. Try not to cut it too short, for in this case you will have less cotton and will dry hit a lot faster. Now that the cotton has gotten a haircut, let's go ahead and tuck that new haircut under the coils as shown. Once the cotton is all tucked away, you can now put your vape oil on the cotton. Make sure the cotton is good and wet before using. The best thing to do is to put the oil on them and let it soak for about 5 minutes. Hope you learned something new today, and keep on vaping.